to another episode of the SMEFocus show brought to you by Factory Now TV. I'm your host, Chris Greenough, and in this series we've been focusing on SMEs within the British manufacturing sector. Every week we discuss and analyse the challenges and opportunities facing the sector in these unprecedented times. I've worked in the sector for many years and I'm CCO at SDE Technology, the leading manufacturer of pressings and assemblies in the UK. So hopefully you can appreciate this show is very much for manufacturers and indeed by manufacturers. And this week's show is a very special show, the 149th edition of the show. For nearly 3 years, I've been speaking to the stars of the sector. The show started when I started speaking during the first lockdown with Joe Reynolds and Stuart Whitehead. And we said there must be a way of getting our great SME manufacturers onto a webcast show to hear about their stories, hear about their great businesses, and hear about those fantastic people. The depth and breadth of UK manufacturing never ceases to amaze me. I've had 148 fantastic guests so far on this show. And this week, I'd just like to pull together a compilation of some of those great guests. So I hope you enjoy the show. I'm pleased to welcome my guest today, Oliver North, CEO at the Venari Group.
Hi, Chris. How are you doing?
Not too bad. And yourself?
Yeah, very well. Thank you. Very well.
Good to see you. So tell us a bit about the Venari Group and tell us a bit about what you do.
Well, basically, Venari Group was only set up in late last year. We set up the company to actually acquire a 32-year-old ambulance manufacturer, a British ambulance manufacturer, which is actually the most established ambulance builder in the UK. So the Venari Group was set up to acquire the business, and then as of January this year, we took on another factory to go into production of fire trucks and other specialist vehicles. My guest today is Philippa Glover, Managing Director at CNC Robotics Limited. Welcome, Philippa.
Hi, Christopher. Nice to speak to you.
Nice to speak to you. Nice to see you as well. Please tell us about CNC Robotics and what is it you do?
Yeah, so CNC Robotics is a robot integrator based in Liverpool City region, and we specialise in machining applications. We were founded in 2010 by Jason Barker when he was looking for a cost-effective way to machine large parts for the theatre and film industry. And yeah, we've been playing with robots ever since.
Fantastic. And you recently spoke about the need for SMEs to have technology as part of their business plan post-COVID. Can you explain what you meant by this?
Yeah, I think it's just really, really important as businesses that we continue to look at our business plan and we see how innovation can help us continue to grow and develop. And actually innovation doesn't necessarily need to be the big ticket items. It can be innovating behind the kind of back office processes, looking at how do you do that in a more effective way to streamline the business, to enable you to continue to scale up and grow. And I just think it's really, really important that as SMEs, we recognise that there's a sizable opportunity for us out there, and there's an awful lot of support within the innovation landscape to help you effectively understand what your challenges are and how technology can help you become smarter and more efficient, which ultimately will create kind of new jobs, new wealth, new opportunities for everyone.
My guest today is Ninder Johal, one of the Midlands' leading businessmen working with local government to create wealth for the region. Welcome, Ninder. How are you?
Yeah, good afternoon. Good to speak to you, Chris.
It is indeed. Long time no speak.
Absolutely. Well, we know something got in the way.
Absolutely. So, as you know, it's been a rough ride for many for the manufacturing sector since COVID took hold in the end of March. What do you think the picture is around the region, certainly where you are, and what the business think?
Well, I'll tell you what was interesting. Today, I went into the city centre, as in I drove through the city centre, and then on my way back home to try and sort of make it in time for this. And what I didn't take into account was, those bottlenecks we've all had before pre-COVID.
Yeah.
Well, they were all there today. So there's a lot of traffic on the roads, and whether that had a lot to do with the fact that kids are now back, is either here or there. But I think I think we're slowly getting. I tell you, it was an interesting stat I came across today. So in France, they've had 84% of people back.
Yeah.
Italy was 75%. And I think Germany and somebody else, I can't remember who, was also hovering in the 70. And the UK is at 35%.
So we've got a long way to go then, yeah?
Long way to go. Long way to go. And so the rest of Europe appears to be back to where they were.
Joining me this week, I've got great pleasure in introducing Lucy Pringle, who is partner at Womble Bond Dickinson. Lucy, hello and welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me, Chris.
And great to speak to you. So tell me about Womble Bond Dickinson and what you do.
I'm a partner in our London office at WBD. I specialise mainly in manufacturing and logistics.
Yeah.
I also lead our women's network at WBD, which is, I think, the reason you've asked to speak to me today. Womble Bond Dickinson is a full service law firm, so we cover pretty much all legal needs across all of the areas that a manufacturing business might need. So contracts, day-to-day business advice, mergers and acquisitions, regulatory support, employment law, intellectual property, etc. So as I say, we're a full service law firm. We're transatlantic, so we have 8 offices in the UK and 23 offices in the US. Our models to make sure we have lawyers close to where our clients need us so that we really understand local markets, but we can also give clients access to a truly international service.
Fantastic.
And manufacturing is one of the key sectors that we focus on.
Absolutely. And I came across your profile. You highlight the similarities between manufacturing and law. And recently you shared your top 10 thoughts on how we can promote these as careers. So give me a summary of those top 10 points.
So yes, that's right. I wrote an article that was published in The Manufacturer, and it was about how manufacturers can improve their gender diversity, what lessons they could perhaps learn from a law firm. So I set up and co-lead with one of my fellow partners a women's network at WBD, and we've learned so much from doing that. And it occurred to me that law is a traditionally male-dominated industry, and we have I think our firm is 65% female now, but that doesn't necessarily translate to an equal ratio of men and women at the top. And it occurred to me that manufacturing is very similar. It's a male-dominated industry, and I just wondered whether there's anything that we have learned through our gender diversity initiatives in a law firm that might help manufacturers who are perhaps a little bit further behind. Manufacturers don't necessarily have a majority of women coming in the bottom, and so it's an even tougher challenge. But with the skills gap in manufacturing and a lot of manufacturing businesses having succession challenges at the top, it occurred to me that, improving gender diversity initiatives in manufacturing businesses could help with that skills gap, could help with those succession challenges. So, I think if anybody's listening today and thinking, I really want to do something different, I really want to get more women into my manufacturing business, I guess what I would say to you is there's no magic bullet. There's no single thing. It's about doing 1,000 things differently and well and consistently. And that's kind of an intimidating message. But actually, a lot of these things aren't difficult, and a lot of them don't cost anything. The key thing to think about is if you want more women into your business, then you've got to attract more women into your business, and then you've got to keep them. And if you want more senior women in your business, you've then got to promote them at that senior level. And you can't do any of that unless you're doing all of it. You can't improve your ratio of women at the top level of your business if you haven't brought women into the business in the first place, kept them with you, and then promoted them up the ladder. So you've got to really look at the whole lifespan of the career arc and what you need to do differently. And I think what we've realized as a law firm is that hope isn't a strategy. For many years, we had lots more women coming in at the bottom end of the profession, and it wasn't moving the dial at the top. So you can't just expect that it's going to happen. It doesn't. You've got to really take concrete steps to change.
Absolutely, and you've got to do something differently. I think is your key. My guest today, I'm pleased to welcome Susan Marlowe, Managing Director at Minster Computers.
Hi, Chris.
Hi, Susan. Good to see you. It's a long time since we've met in person, and now we're doing lots more of these virtual meetings.
Indeed, it's the new normal, isn't it?
It seems to be. So tell me about Minster Micro and what is it you do?
Okay, so we're an IT company, and we look after a number of manufacturers. About 50% of our client base are manufacturers of one type or another, from light engineering through to heavy plants, and across quite a wide range of manufacturers. So, typical metal bashing, one could call it, through to furniture manufacturing and so on. So, we've got a real interest in what the manufacturing industry is up to, particularly in the Midlands area. So primarily it's SME market. So it's all very much really trying to understand what SMEs need from us from an IT point of view. We are what we would call an MSP, an ERP specialist company, a total solution. So the MSP, or managed service provision, is really about preventative, proactive support and maintenance. So we're doing things like remote monitoring of your systems so that we can catch problems before they actually happen, because we recognise uptime is such a serious issue for businesses. We look at helping them to develop their IT strategy to include disaster recovery, business continuity, and so forth. So we're a really essential part. We like to think of ourselves as you can get on with making your business bigger and better because your IT just works. So if we're doing that right, then that's exactly what we're here to do.
My guest today is Nimisha Raja, founder at Nims Fruit Crisps. Good morning, Nimisha. How are you?
Good morning, Chris. Very well, thank you. How are you?
Fantastic to see you, and thank you for coming on the show. Really interested to hear your story. So please tell us about Nims Fruit Crisps.
We are we have a factory in Sittingbourne, and we're the only manufacturer of air-dried fruit and vegetable crisps, so 100% natural, no oil or anything. We also produce now a range of infusions and edible teas. So anything we can make with air-dried fruit and veg, we're into it, hopefully.
Fantastic. So it's not just fruit crisps anymore. The name sort of belies that's all you do, but you do a wide variety of things now.
Yes, we'll have to try and find another name for it, I think, so that it encapsulates everything we do, but that's going to be a bigger challenge than I imagine. But yes, a lot more. We started off as a fruit crisp company and then evolved quite a bit over the last couple of years.
And what's it like to run a successful business, a small SME business, and dealing with the likes of Tesco's, who I know you supply?
Well, supermarkets I know they've had a lot of bad rep over the past few years, but I think since GCOP, they've been amazing, and I've been lucky to have come on the scene at a time when they are a lot more amenable to SMEs. I know they've worked really well with us, supplying them, supporting us as much as they can, and that's across the board with all supermarkets. Actually, we're with Tesco, with Waitrose as well, so M&S as well we work with. So behemoths, in the grocery industry. Yes. And wanting to work with small companies. So it's been great, actually, in my experience anyway, so far.
That brings us to the end of another show. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to meeting some more stars of the sector next week. If you would like to get in touch with the show with a comment, a suggestion, or even to appear on a future episode, please email us tv@mtd.media. Thank you again for watching. I've got to go off now and plan the 150th show next week. Got an exciting guest to come on. Thank you again for watching. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. So from me, Chris G at SDE, goodbye.